Well, let me sniff.
Sniff, whatever.
There's dust on it.
I don't get allergies.
It's gonna feel nice in your nose, though.
Yeah, I want to go to bed. I'm tired. That just made me instantly exhausted.
Okay, sorry, was I? I told you I was a sniper. I know you're showing off the ponytail already. But it was making YouTube lag. Come on, a little more. A little more. I want to see the face. And I love the choker. I originally had plans to have a choker myself, but I decided to get rid of it because I thought it was... No! Get the hell out of my head! What? 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 Ah! Ah! Get away! Get away! What? Did I just kill two in one shot? Hell yes!
What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side. I need you by my
No! Damn it! Do the thing! Do the thing! Ah! Hello, hello, and more hello. So, today we're doing things a little bit different. Let me start some music. There we go. Some Christmassy tunes, I believe. So, I've been planning to do this for a bit. I was thinking of doing this tomorrow, but, I need a cozy stream. Yes, so we're gonna do some designing. Alright. And I think my gain is turned up. I seem awfully loud. Hopefully it's okay for you guys. So, as one of the things I wanted to do during hiatus was to redo the monk again. Well, retune it. I've never been entirely happy with it. I had a plan to do abilities more like spells, and give some variety when I started doing the redesign. But I didn't have time. So, I ended up going with a more basic take. So, yeah, that's how we got to this. If you've never looked at this, I've showed it on screen before. So, hopefully it's all good. And you've seen it, and you know what it's capable of. I mean, a lot of it, like up here, is gonna look like a normal D&D monk. At least a 5e one. Choice of skills, saving throws. I moved it to be strength and dexterity, which I think are probably the cores of what a monk should be able to do. So, from there, they get the normal things. Unarmored defense, though I changed how that works. It's now proficiency based for Celestia. And at level 1, they're a lot like any level 1 character. I did give them an armored movement. That's one of my recent changes. So I moved that down to first level. Now usually it starts at second. But to start out with, we consider that they've been in training, and therefore, they're quicker on their feet. They also get monk martial arts, which has a variety of abilities in it, including the bonus attack that you probably see a lot when the Celestia campaign monk, Melissa, is being used. In fact, Liliet may eventually join me today. And then we'll talk about the changes exactly as they affect her, and how we might rebuild her character, because there are some big changes. Wow. Yeah, I can't talk today. Good thing I'm talking, right? So, they get martial arts die, which is basically just this right here. But this is the text about it. And monkey, or chi, I should say chi, but it's spelled key. So, my brain automatically does that. They also have an ability borrowed right from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, which lets them choose a monk ability. Monk weapon. That is not normally a monk weapon. Then there's this one monk chi ability. Which is a new list. This list. This is in alphabetical order. I might split it into level. But in here are all the normal abilities and some extras that monks would usually get. Like Flurry of Blows is in here. They can't take that at second level though. Wow, I told you I can't talk today. But yeah, they can't take it at second level. I might tweak that, because I think I gave it to them at level 3, which is why it says level 3 here. And a lot of them have a minimum level. We're going to tweak some of those today. That's part of what I'm doing. In fact, 2 of these go up to 16th level. It's really high. Most aren't that high. There's only one that is a 9. But if you look back on the new sheet, every other level, every even level, they get a new monk chi ability, which is what this list is. But now they have different abilities. Like one here, this one lets them use or switch the damage type to be force for any of their unarmed attacks or their weapons. And let me get a little farther away from the mic. I think something happened when I rebooted the PC. I think the gain is up a little. But it sounds okay, so we're gonna go with it. I'll just try to not to be too close. But yeah, so that lets them do force damage rather than like bludgeoning or piercing. Very useful. They still get Stunning Strike, which is 5th level. Though they don't get a point to use for these at 5th level. So it'd be 4th or 6th. 6th. So A level later. Just because of how the abilities are offered. There are 15 abilities on this list, and they get 10 points, or 10 abilities from this list. But they get to really customize things, like Wind Strike. It lets them basically get around cover and affect targets up to 30 feet away, like they're standing next to them. I mean, it does cost 1 chi point, but, you know, that can be really useful if you don't have a ranged attack. And these are still the core abilities. They now have a Chi Blast, so they can do a cone, a 15-foot cone, kind of like Burning Hands, though without the burning, it's force damage. And like that ability, there's a saving throw, a dexterity saving throw, which they have to make. It does damage, and it pushes back targets by up to 10 feet if they fail the roll. So it can be really useful for knocking away enemies. Also Flash Step, which is a lot like Misty Step, but the monk version. I kind of like that ability. It gives the monk that movement power. Also to clear gaps, because as it says here, even if this is above or across a gap, as long as there's something to stand on where you end up. So if you wanted to hop up to a windowsill 15 feet up, you could do that. It does have to be within line of sight, though. I renamed the healing ability to Wholeness of Body, which is now at 4, which is, I think, the same as what it was. But there are other abilities you might want to pick up at 4, like Flurry right now, I think. In fact, let's look up Flurry of Blows. Oh, wait. I restarted my PC. So let's give it a second as it loads things in. Right. Flurry of Blows. Right. That does not tell me the level. In fact, that still doesn't tell me the level. Okay, I'm guessing it's at 2. So let's go and change that. We can make that a 4 and a 2. Make that a 4. Let's make that a 2. I really think this should be a 6. Yeah, let's move it to 6. And let's make that a 4. Alright. I might make this a 10. That'll make everything an even level to match when you get the points or the slots to spend on these. Because the change to this is meant to make them more like spells. That's the idea. You know, I don't want to make spells over again, but kind of like they do in the new version of Pathfinder, the 2nd edition, monks actually have spells, which are basically their abilities. So that's kind of what I wanted to get to. So they feel more like, a hybrid. They're meant to be a hybrid class. So like paladins, bards, alchemists, and artificers. But they haven't really fit in. They don't gel. They don't use spell slots. They don't have anything like that. So this is more to give them that selection of abilities and kind of get away from the current take on them. Alright. So yeah, a lot of abilities have been pulled out, but not all of them. A lot of the basic ones, even Patient Defense, which I've redone, by the way. That was part of my retuning. Patient Defense, I don't want it to use Chi. I don't want that. That felt excessive. Even though I boosted the Chi point numbers, you still only got 6 points. That's not a lot. And that's at level 4. Melissa, Liliet's character from Celestia, is now level 5, so she'd have 8 points. That hasn't changed. HP hasn't changed. She did get her proficiency bonus, though. That should be nice. But, yeah. 8 points is still not a lot. I mean, it is if all you're doing is Flurry of Blows. Because, 8 turns, if you're Flurry of Blowing every turn, is a lot. But, that's not the case. There's a lot of abilities. More so for her, because she is a War Monk. I'm altering War Monk, and let's actually go in here and look at this for a sec. So, at level 3, she got martial arts techniques. I have a list of those that I was using. It's actually down here. And it's made from the maneuver list, which there are a lot of maneuvers. Okay, that was a little weird. My audio hiccuped. Definitely weird. Anyways, so in here, a lot of these were carried over into this list. A smaller list, though. We didn't end up getting anyone who uses those. Or Oh wow, I actually give them more than I thought. I might change this. 4 seems kind of high. But yeah, the new take is, it's basically what it says here. Which is that they get, either martial arts techniques or chi abilities. And let's plop this in. Alright. So now they all say what they're supposed to. I'm gonna carry these over to Kensei as well. Because I want to do the same thing for Kensei. War monks and Kensei feel a lot alike. What I want to do though is that war monks, Kensei are, you know, the masters of a weapon. Or 2 weapons, technically. I want to change things. So, we're gonna mix things up. And, War monk is gonna be... Hello, Anicia. How are you? And welcome. And I'm doing okay. Anyways, as I was saying, I want War monk to be like, you know, fists and feet. Not so much weapons, which is a bit of a change. I mean, originally, I saw them as being, like the fighter, like the Battlemaster fighter for monks. But now, Kensei are getting the same sort of abilities. Not the same list. I'll show you that in a sec. In fact, let's grab that. And let's pop this over here. They're gonna get a few other things. Right. I'm gonna drop it to 2. Oh. It would help if I brought the name. Kensei techniques. There we go. I'm still leaving in a few of these abilities here. But how did I word it back over here? Right, I'm gonna borrow the name. Oh, and I need to change this here. Because what they get are Kensei techniques. A lot of those are going to be very similar. Very similar. But I'm changing a few things, adding things here or there. They're kind of like class or subclass spell lists, like you'd see in normal D&D 5e. So that's what we want to show here. And not everyone is going to be able to use sorry, trying to type and think. Like Zen archery. Because not everyone is an archer. So, it would not make sense because of that. I mean, one with the blade is definitely handy. Because all your fists or weapons count as magical. So that's universally applicable. So whether it's a dagger or a bow, it doesn't matter. It's going to count as magical while you're using it. So, that sounds fine. Universal ability. Zen archery, though, you need a bow, a bolt from a crossbow, or a thrown weapon. So, not super useful. And it's at level 11. Oops, it's in the wrong place. This belongs here. That would have been good. I'd be wondering where the other ability went. Okay, this is gonna sound funny. So, the next ability is Kensei Master. Which is funny, because Kensei basically means master. Though, like weapon master. Alright, and then Adept. So, let me go and add Adept here. Alright. Oh. I'm just gonna borrow this. Slot that right in, because it's the same text. Alright, so now it's a lot fuller. Yeah, I mean, Zen archery should probably be lower. I'm not sure, like, where I'd put it if I changed it. So I'm willing to leave it there at 11. The main focus is going to be your abilities that you get as a Kensei. And I have been working on this list. These are all the Kensei abilities right now. So, like, this used to be a normal ability for this subclass. I made it into a Kensei technique because basically I was already using chi, and it made a lot of sense to move it over here. And except for this, most of them follow when you'd be getting the abilities normally. This one not, because this is actually pulled from another list. It was part of the War Monk abilities, but now they're not really the ones to use chains or whips or kusaris, which is what this focuses on. And this is not alphabetical or organized in any way, at least not so far. So, you have a few interesting ones in here. Rapid fire, which is meant for, like, bows or thrown weapons. Right. I'm gonna say bow. I don't think it's probably appropriate for crossbows in this setting. Ooh. Okay, that was loud. My keys are apparently super loud. But I want another ability. We'll work on that in a little bit. Probably called, like, Brush or something like that. So, this is gonna sound funny, but to give inspiration for names, I've actually been pulling from Naruto. So I haven't really even looked at Naruto for maybe 8 or 10 years now. But they have a lot of ability names, and they're separated into classes. So, like Taijutsu is meant to be like physical and weapon abilities. So they're handy to have as a reference. Earth Cutter would sound like a cool technique, or Earth Splitting, and we can have those. But yeah, I've been looking at this to get ideas for names. Sometimes you kind of have to look at them though, because they have some wonky names. Wonky. I know that sounds weird. I know. But it works. I did get my hell chop from there. Which is basically a special type of combo move. I want to see how that works. But no one really is high enough level yet. Maybe one of the enemy NPCs will be using this at some point, so we can test it out. That's one of the things about my setting. A lot of it's still in testing. I did tell them all this when we started, so they knew that going in. But I think they've kind of forgotten. But yeah, some of these are going to be interesting, like Sharpen the Blade. Basically lets you not need a magic weapon, but still get the +1 attack and damage bonus for a minute. It requires concentration. I'm pretty sure I added that in. Yes, it requires concentration. But it's very handy if you can't find your Kensei weapon as like a magical weapon. I mean, that's one of the problems Melissa's having. Most of the people have a magic weapon in the campaign by this point. It's usually a +1. There's one +2. But, yeah, the Barbarian has it, and they don't really use it. So, it hasn't really come up very often. But our monk, Melissa, is using rope daggers, or rope darts, however you want to put that. And I haven't had a good chance to throw those in as loot somewhere, because they're kind of rare weapons, at least where they've been. So, she can buy an exotic set of them, and it's not too expensive, but she can't find like magical ones very easily. She would probably have to like have them custom crafted. So this lets her get around that. Same with anyone else. This is a Kensei ability though, and currently she's a war monk. And because of the split, I'm not sure I would actually do that with war monk at this point. Yeah. I don't know. I'm back and forth on that. There are special abilities for war monks, which is this list, which is currently a little bit longer, I think. They're about the same. Some of them are nice, like 1 Ton Punch. I like the name. You know, it has weight. Most of these, though, and Feint, I need to bring over too. Feint is something you can do with a weapon or your hands, so it belongs in both lists. So let me go and add that before I forget. And the tables use the same properties, so I'm not really, like... Did my music stop? Wait, it's not using the right list. Hang on. There we go. Back to the holiday list. I mean, it is, what, 3 days until Christmas? It really doesn't feel like that. Alright, now, this list is a little bit longer. At least so far. But a lot of these, I probably wouldn't do, like, a weapon version of low fighting or martial arts throw. Though martial arts throw, I kind of want to make into a chi ability. Or maybe even, well, kind of want to limit throwing. So I might keep that with a chi cost. But I kind of want to go and add that as a basic chi ability. I'm torn. If you guys have any thoughts on that, let me know. So, like, counter attack over here, which is one that Melissa's been using a lot, has counter strike over here. Same thing. This one is just with a weapon. And wait, that is not... Okay. That should be key point. So, with the original versions, it was before I'd finished the system that they eventually used. So there were technique points, and apparently I left that in multiple times. That's a key point. Martial arts. There we go. But yeah, I want to do some different types of attacks. I want to do like some AoEs, maybe a ground stomp, or I wonder. I mean, that's kind of what I want. Maybe earth-shattering. Okay. A lot of these are silly. You can tell they did them just for, like, the fighting games in the series. But... So, earth splitting, range, bullet radius. Time to use. I think one action. Required level 4 plus. I see it as 4 plus. Maybe a 6. I'll go with 6. Duration instant. You strike the ground and shatter the earth for 10 feet in any direction around you. I mean, that's pretty much the description I gave in the radius. Any targets within this area need to make a dexterity saving throw or they are tossed into the air and land prone. Let's see. If they land prone and take I mean, I'm making this a 6th level ability, so 4x martial arts die of bludgeoning damage. So, if you look at the scale for martial arts die, at 6, they're d8s, so it'd be 4d8, which is 32 max. I mean, that sounds pretty good, especially if you're trading your whole turn for it, except for your bonus action. I kind of like that. And then it scales, because it would be 4d10, starting at 11th, and then 8d6, or 68, depending on how you want to put that, at 18th. Not huge scaling, but still some scaling. And it's only costing you 1 point. I might change that part. They take half damage on a successful save and are not prone. And prone is kind of big because it costs half your movement to stand up. So if you're getting knocked to the ground, that means you can't really move too much. I like that. I like that. So, then we come over here, and, let me make it easy on myself. I'm gonna grab this. We're just gonna make a couple of these. It's the nice thing about my header. It's the same thing as all my abilities down below. So, earth. Damn it. You know, you have too many tabs when you try to get to one and it closes. I should probably get rid of some of these. We're not using spells right now. And I don't need my research tabs. That makes it a little bit better. Earth Cutter. Alright. That's what I want to call this. We'll make them pretty much match. Time to use. One action. Range. 10 feet. Or 10 foot. Radius. Which I also misspelled. I'm great. Yep. Instant. I'll probably just copy the text. I mean, functionally, they're identical. The only difference... okay, that's weird. That did not carry all of the text. Apparently it didn't think I selected it all. Awkward. Give me 1 sec. I need to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, let me save this. Come on. Alright, there's our new ability. And yeah, we already got this one saved. But... yeah, I also want to do that to the other monk types. I want to give Shadow Monk, like, shadow techniques. Again, I want it to be like that custom subclass spell list, but for monks. I don't want to have... I mean, I thought of giving them, like, spell slots, but unique ones, with, like, their own spells. But I just don't like the feel of that. Some of these might not use the same system. It's very similar to what I'm doing with, like, Nature Path monks, which were Skewered, Torch, like, Pathfinder, Kineticist. That's sort of the basis there. But as a monk, and using chi, Open Palm might need some work. I'm not sure what I want to do with them. Yeah, I gave one of their big abilities, Quivering Fist, as a regular monk chi ability. Yeah, it's now just Quivering Palm over here. I haven't done the effect yet, because I've been debating how I want to word everything that goes into that. But yeah, I've also made this interesting sheet. It's not updated, especially not for Kensei and War Monk, but it's the action economy for my monk. There are a lot of reactions deflecting missiles, patient defense, slow fall, redirect attack, stillness of mind, and air grab. Air grab is very particular to a specific chi ability. Windstep is that ability. It's meant to give monks a flight ability. However, they're meant to have to get to a solid surface. It's meant to feel like wire fu in like Chinese movies, where they dance from tree to tree. That's sort of what Windstep is meant to be. However, air grab is meant to be sort of a stopgap. So like, if you're in the air, usually you gotta set down on a surface every turn using that ability. And that ability is actually meant to last, I want to say, up to a minute. And I think it requires concentration. But air grab gives you the ability to make an acrobatics check. And if you succeed, you actually can catch yourself in midair. No objects required. So, if you can't quite get to that next, branch or whatever, it's an out. Not a guaranteed out. You could roll really bad on an acrobatics check and crash. And it's not an easy check. DC 20 is really high. But you could do it. You could do it. So, if you want to use your reaction, it's a good thing. It also works like if you were knocked up into the air using another ability. You could try to do an air grab. I would certainly allow that in my game. Because it's basically the same thing. Anything when you'd normally start to fall. Which kind of conflicts with slow fall. But, yeah. It's meant to give you that one round. And you do need Windstep, or you can't really take this. It doesn't show here, because this is just the action economy that we're really showing here. And I keep getting too close to the mic. But yeah, everything's laid out. Partial actions are the ones, kind of like Flurry of Blows and Stunning Strike already are, where you're already doing attacks. You're not using an attack for them, or an action, or a bonus action. You just get to do them as part of an attack. So, and not even always an attack. But, basically they don't count in the normal action economy. So I give them this little dash symbol. And, Perfect Strike is another new ability. It's kind of like the spell True Strike, except that in this case you roll a martial arts die, which at low levels is not that great. It's a D6 or a D8, or you're not using it at first level because you don't have the skills yet, so it's not a D4, which is probably good. It doesn't conflict with Bless that way. But, an extra D6 or D8 when you're rolling an attack can be really useful. And in this case, kind of like for the rogue class, the psionic rogue class, that I can't think of the name of. I should. There's one in my campaign. But, kind of like them, if you still can't hit. So basically, if you fail your attack, there's no cost. I think that's a good way to do it. That way, if you're hitting, you use up points. But if you're not, you don't use up points. It feels better that way to the player. So, that's a new ability in there. I want to do a custom list like this for basically Melissa, my monk. Well, not mine. She's run by Liliad. But I want to do this sort of list so they know what they can do, at least by the rules. I mean, there's lots of things you can do if I let you within the game. But these are the hard-coded abilities. So yeah. I think this is kind of a good way of organizing things. So you can quickly see, well, what am I doing right now? Did I just do an attack? Then I can use these. Am I getting hit? Or is someone trying to attack me? Maybe I can use a reaction. What sort of bonus actions can I make? And they automatically get one as part of martial arts. So I should probably add that here. I haven't yet. It's not really like an ability. I mean, it is, but it's part of a wider ability. So, yeah. But it's probably a really common use of bonus action. So I should probably add it in here. Melissa has the equivalent of wholeness of body. So she's probably going to take that again. It's the monk heal ability. And it's very useful. I mean, she used it, I don't think last episode. But I think wait, no. She did use it last episode. I think she used it the episode before, too. However, like a lot of monks, her go-tos are basically Flurry of Blows. She just got Stunning Strike, because last episode ended with them being level 5. So, usually she'd get Stunning Strike. And even if we go and look, because I'll pull up her sheet. Here's her sheet. At the bottom of it, I actually already gave her Stunning Strike. I'm probably going to end up changing that. A lot of this has changed. I renamed Key Healing, so a lot of stuff like that. She also has these techniques, and she's never used low fighting, pushing, or disarming. She uses counterattack once in a while. But I think she has too many things that she can do. That she can... Yeah, that sounded weird when I said it. But it technically is right. But yeah, oh, her AC went up too. I forgot. In fact, I think I should fix that now. Yeah, I turned off armor class tracking. So it's not updating. Because for some reason, the sheet doesn't give me the option to use proficiency as part of the calculation. And my monks, their version of armored defense is when you're not wearing armor, your AC equals 10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your proficiency modifier. So since our proficiency just went up 1, it should now be 16. Because her dexterity is a +3, her proficiency is a +3, and the initial 10, so 16. I mean, that's gonna be big for her too. Oh, and while I'm on this sheet, or at least on this page, right. I changed patient defense. Yeah, proficiency plus dexterity. So 6. She's got 6 uses per rest. So let's track those. Yeah. That gives disadvantage to those attacking her as a reaction. It's probably one of the more useful abilities as a reaction. At least up close. It really feels a lot better to me than the way patient defense usually works. Because it usually costs chi. And you don't have a lot of chi. I mean, she's got 8 points because I boosted the base chi amount. Basically, it gives her proficiency on top of the usual amount. So, just a tad bit more chi to work with. But even so, that is not a lot. I mean, if you're getting attacked like a heck of a lot, you'd go through a lot of chi if you were just using patient defense. And that would, exclude any offensive abilities you wanted to use. So, I'm giving it its own pull. So we now have patient defense with 6, which feels right about right. It was technically unlimited initially, which really 6 can be a lot. Though you don't always want to use it, especially with Roll20. Every time, and I'll show this. Alright. If she makes an attack, we'll just do an unarmed strike. So these are her 2 scores. It's always gonna roll as if she got advantage, and then we just pick and choose. But because of this, when enemies attack, you get to see what the alternate roll would be. In this case, if she had just tried to hit herself for some reason and could somehow patient defense, that 13 would not hit, but this 19 would. So, giving disadvantage would be kind of big. But, we've had situations, I think even last fight, where someone got a 16 and the second roll was a 19. Both would hit. So, using patient defense doesn't really matter. So, yeah. That wouldn't change. I don't know if you noticed, but she is a war monk. So, I have talked to her about possibly changing this. I mean, character-wise, there's no real, difference between a war monk. The weapon proficiency is, I believe, the same. Yeah, I mean, this gives proficiency. I'm taking out this part eventually, about getting multiple weapons. At least I think I am. But basically, you get 2 weapons, just like here. There is that limitation on 2 abilities split up. Yeah, one melee and one ranged. Celestia's a little weird. I'm not even sure what you would pick. This is all the weapons within Celestia. And you can see what type they are. I kind of like this table. There's a lot of weapons on here. But let's go down. Martial ranged weapons. There are 6. It's not a very big list. So basically, you'd be picking a bow. I mean, 3 of them are bows. Nets, blowguns, and arbalest, which is a crossbow. But a big crossbow are the only ones other than bows. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna remove that requirement. Yeah, that'll work. I don't know. I kind of like that you get some more proficiencies as you build up. It's only 3, so 5 total. I mean, that doesn't feel bad. In Melissa's case, hers are already, her rope darts are simple, well, they're monk weapons. They're also considered simple weapons, I believe. Actually, we'll go look. Rope dart. Martial melee weapon. So, yeah, they're also a monk weapon. That doesn't show in the list. But yeah, rope darts are in here. So, she wouldn't really need to pick it, at least not from this list. She would get agile parry, which can be kind of nice. So basically, if you've attacked and still have your weapon in your hands, and you aren't incapacitated, you get a +2 to your AC, which would give her an 18. Actually should be a good bit tankier. Yeah. It would cut down her techniques by 2. But that's not so bad. I mean, she hasn't been using all the abilities, and she can pick original chi abilities or Kensei ones. I think that's kind of good. That would give her counter strike rather than her counter attack that she's been using. But she would get another point that she could use for an original chi ability or one of these. So I kind of like that feel. She's not 6 yet, but having her weapons count as magical would probably help in a lot of fights. It also would give her the ability to pick up Sharpen the Blade, the first level, because she'd be 6. So that's something she can look forward to. If she doesn't want to, invest in her weapons right now. It does use up chi, and she still wouldn't have a lot. In fact, Next level she'll only have 9. I mean, still more than normal, but it's not great. Not great. And yeah, that just matches key empowered strikes, I think. I'm pretty sure it does. Okay, I know it's a monk ability, so if I didn't type anything for it, I left it alone. Yes, it's right here. Oh, hyphenated. Okay, yeah, it just mirrors this. So yeah, Kensei doesn't really get anything special with this one. I might add to that. But, you know, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, even if it just mirrors it, the original one doesn't really say anything about monk weapons. Just about fists. So, yeah, I kinda like that. The only thing she'll really give up is flow of battle when she gets to 11th. Which is when you roll initiative, if you have no chi points, you regain 1 martial arts die of chi points. That sounds kinda good. They get Zen Archery instead of that. And Zen Archery, for her at least, is probably not better. But yeah, the only other thing is Light Walk, which she hasn't got yet. About not setting off traps. Yeah, and it's a little bit about stealth. I don't think it's a big ability. Kensei, I think, at 6, the one with the blade, is probably better. Yeah, otherwise, all she does is gain if she switches over. Alright, so that's kind of an overview. And we've done a little bit of work. I mean, there are a lot of abilities I'd like to give them. I want Monk to be kind of as flexible as, like, basically a mage. You know, they're more combat focused. So not like some mage abilities. Like, they don't need to talk to the dead or anything like that. In fact, I have a new type of monk, the Lore Keeper. They're about skills. They don't get any extra, like, spells. As I've been talking about monk abilities as if they were spells. They don't get any of those. You know, they don't have their own list. They just get the basic chi abilities. But on top of that, they get a lot of abilities that are more like a bard. Especially in Celestia, bards are more a knowledge class. It's about knowing things, not musical talent or being able to perform. So, they get like that thing I've heard of, where you know little bits and pieces of knowledge that let you treat any skill or tool use as proficient, but the roll will have disadvantage. It's kind kind of a double-edged sword. Basically, they get proficiency on all skills, but any ones they're not really proficient in, they have disadvantage. So their chance is low, but they do have a better boost on it, especially at higher levels. You know, if your proficiency is like a 6, a plus 6, even if you have disadvantage, can be pretty good. Doesn't really help too much early on, but maybe it would. You know, it's situational. Sort of a Hail Mary thing. I like the way it feels. You know, you've learned all these little bits and pieces. It's not quite like the Bard, where they get half proficiency in any skills they don't have proficiency in. They also get some additional languages. Then they can sense thoughts. The psychic class for monks in normal D&D is the Astral Monk, or I think I called it Astral Monk when I incorporated it here into Celestia. But they're the ones who get like the psychic armor and like psychic arms. They don't get the thought sensing. I kind of like that this type of monk does. I mean, they're all about knowledge. So learning secrets falls into that. Then they get Lorekeeper's secrets. When they make a skill or ability check, you can expend 1 chi point and roll a martial arts die and add the number rolled to your check. So, there's other abilities like that in 5th. Wow, I just called it 5th. 5th edition. 5e. But it feels pretty good. I mean, you could use this with that thing I've heard of, to roll even with disadvantage and still get, you know, what would be 6th level, so like a d8 added to it. That could be a real game changer. You know, you really need to make that charisma roll. Like you're trying to talk your way out of like maybe a trap or a battle, and you're not a charisma character. Probably not, at least. But as a lore keeper, you know, you can still roll with disadvantage, and you get the proficiency bonus. So that's 6. That's a 3. Then you can add a martial arts die. Hello, Lily. I don't get the reference. I'm trying to. I was talking about some of the other subclasses, because I just created the Lore Keeper a bit ago. But they're a skill monk. Not like yours. And let's hop back. Since you're here, if you do want to, you can actually come on to Discord chat with me. I am in Discord. So, if you want, we can go over things. Or if you want to chat, that works too. You know, whatever you want. But, yeah, this part, I think I like as it is now. So that's probably not going to change. It's more getting the subclasses to work like this does now. Let's move this. That's War Monk. Did I accidentally nuke it? I really hate my mouse. Oh wait, I don't even see it. What did I do? Wait, that is the monk. Oh, it's there. Too many tabs, I swear. But yeah, these are the chi abilities that all monks get. I did adjust the levels a little bit. The initial ones weren't quite right. Hello, Lily. I can see you there. I'll give her a second. I'll just listen to a little music here.
Forgot to pick up the mic power. There it is. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Hi. Just got home.
That's good.
So, sounding all good? Okay, everything seems to be good on my end. Right. So, I was gonna ask, so all of those monkey abilities is something that I get to choose, or is something that I get to as an ability as I get the level?
This is the list of options. There are 15 options, and as you can see here, you get one monk ability, one monk chi ability, I should say, every even level. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, etc. So you get 10 points or 10 abilities from the list of 15. However, both War Monk and Kensei, and probably Shadow Monk, when I get to doing Shadow Monk, all of those get a number of abilities either from their own list or from the chi list.
Oh, okay.
So, whether you're a War Monk or a Kensei, you can still use your bonus abilities to pick from the master list. So if you want more from the master list, you can do that.
Okay, so this is where we have to... that's where I'm confused. So, you're saying that at this point, you're gonna change monk. So that means I have to either choose a Kensei monk or a War Monk?
Well, see, the way I'm gearing them, originally War Monk was meant to be like a Battle Master fighter. That was the concept. Battle Masters get a bunch of techniques, which they can then use in combat. I wanted War Monk to feel like that and give you some of those options, because they got things like pushing someone back, or I forget some of the other ones. Oh, sweep attack. So they can knock someone prone by tripping them. That sort of thing. I wanted to do that for Monk. However, now that I'm giving Kensei those same sorts of abilities,
Mhm.
I need to change the flavor of War Monk. Because
Right.
right now, they're kind of identical.
Right, that's what my confusion came in because I think that makes sense that because I'm using the darts on the gameplay, so go check the videos that you have in your YouTube. It makes sense that my seems to be a little bit weird that it says as a warmag. I think the thing is that I think that define warmag. What does a warmag even is?
So, the concept of a War Monk, as far as the text part, hasn't changed. War Monks focus less on the spiritual and more on the physical side of fighting. Hence, they can rival fighters on the battlefield. They care more about martial prowess and the hard side of martial arts than most monks. That's literally the text. Kensei, on the other hand, they seek to perfect themselves, and they do so using specific weapons that speak to them, and they treat their weapons as an extension of themselves.
So that would be pretty much what I was using because I was using the darts to extend my attacks to the enemies.
Yes,
Huh.
that's why I said, right now, you only get one ability from War Monk besides your techniques, and we're redoing the techniques anyways, so you're not really losing anything. All you lose is your weapon proficiency. But
Nah, wait. So instead of
Kensei,
attacking,
hang on,
instead of attacking
hang on.
5, okay, I think.
So Kensei also gets Kensei weapons. So you can
Right.
choose 2 weapons to focus on, and 3 more as you level up. And you can get proficiency with those weapons through this.
Oh,
And I got rid of the weird split between ranged weapons and melee weapons. So now, any 2 weapons.
okay. So any two weapons.
Yes. So you actually won't lose anything.
If I go with the Kensei monk.
Yes. You
But
actually gain some things. Like you'll gain agile parry, which
I had
really doesn't mean anything unless you look at it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, wait.
Basically, if you make an attack on your turn,
Right?
you can add a +2 bonus to your AC into your next turn.
Oh, there is a child parry. Okay.
Yes. So, with that, as long as you're holding your weapon and you aren't incapacitated, you get a +2 to your AC. You just have to attack every turn.
As long as I attack in return, I'll get my 2 AC. So instead of
Yes.
having 15 AC, I will have like a total of 17
Actually,
AC.
you have 16 AC.
Wait,
Your
because
AC
of
went up.
I level?
Yes, when you
Oh.
leveled, you got an increase to your AC because your proficiency just went from 2 to 3.
Oh,
And your AC is
okay.
made by your proficiency bonus plus your dex. So, it's now 16. And with this, you'd have 18.
Oh, okay. Season 17, 18. Okay, that makes a little bit sense. I'm still, I don't know. I'm still a little bit turned out that I won't be a warg monk. I'll be a Kensei monk.
I mean, it's gonna feel the same. So,
I mean, it does make sense that I have to use a lot of my weapons, and a lot of my weapons are the ones that were doing a lot of the damage.
yeah. And Kenseis can still fight with their hands. They don't lose that. So, you don't lose your options. You just gain more. Now, Kenseis only get 2 extra techniques. So, you won't have the 4 that I'm still giving War Monk right now. So they get more
Okay,
techniques. But you're not really using most of those.
That's what I was
So,
thinking about too. That it's because none of the opportunities arise, or they were not really that needed at the moment.
yeah,
Because either I got killed, or the rolls were so low I didn't have the chance to even use counterattack.
yeah. There is a Kensei techniques list. So if you want, you can go to that page. Some
Kensei
of
technique.
those, yes, Kensei techniques.
Okay, I do not like that little requirement, but I can only choose one of them, right?
2.
Oh, two of them. Okay,
Yeah,
as long as they are on my level required. Okay.
yes. Um, some
Oh.
of these assume that you're taking them directly from Kensei.
Uh-huh.
However, just like you can take normal chi abilities
Right.
with Kensei levels, or when you get Kensei techniques,
Uh-huh.
you can do the same with normal monk, every other level, chi ability. I keep wanting to call them points or slots, but
Okay.
basically, when you get a new ability, it can be from the chi list or the Kensei list. Either way you want to go. And actually,
Yeah, I really had to really think about it and see what it's all about, because there's so little difference between the both of them.
yeah. I mean,
Because I do remember you said that the Warman wanted to be more like a fisticuff kind of fellow.
yes. They're
Yeah,
more.
well, yeah.
Now they're more focused on hand to hand. Because that's going to give them their own feel. You know, they're
Ah.
still going to rival fighters, but they do so using their bare hands and feet.
Oh
So,
God, that doesn't sound right.
yes. So, like, um, on the martial arts techniques list that
Mhm.
Warmont gets, the very first ability is one-ton punch. So, like, when they land an attack, you can push the target and deal bonus damage. And you make it the target do a saving throw. If they fail, they
Okay.
get pushed back up to 20 feet.
Now, with that regarding about that, let's just say that the enemy is like so close to a wall, and you punch him, and
Uh-huh.
they fail the roll. Do they take damage, like environmental damage from the wall, or that does not count?
Okay, so D&D does not understand environmental damage. I would probably personally give you like at least a point of damage per like square that you push them back. So if they can't move and you just push them back 20 feet, I'd probably give you at least 4 bonus damage. Maybe 8, depending.
Mm-hmm.
But usually D&D doesn't care about that. It's weird how that
Okay.
works.
Yeah, because I will think about it. You send somebody flying 20 feet, that's gonna be one quite of a punch, right?
Yes. Well,
If they
hence
hit
the
the
name.
wall, yeah.
Hence the name One-Ton Punch. And it sounds very solid. Now, Kensei doesn't get that ability, but there are a lot of other ones. In fact, there are some that would be really good for you. Because you're using rope darts, chained pull, chained heaven, entangling strike. Those are all options you'd have. Chain pull pulls a target to you, which you might want. So say, like, someone was attacking Miria, and you're 10 feet away. You can hit them with an attack and pull them towards you, so they're not close enough to attack Miria anymore.
Oh, okay, I see. Now, I did notice that you also did a change in Flurry of Blows. So how does that work now?
Okay, Flurry didn't really change too much.
Yeah, because you put on monkey abilities, but what is the difference? Didn't I have that since level 2? Or will that count as a...
It is level 2.
Right.
This one is 2. The initial required level was a little different. Mostly because I hadn't finished them. I did go through and finish those when we started the stream. So,
Oh,
about an
okay.
hour ago.
Yeah, so I come back late, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I still need to look into it a little bit more in depth, and probably
Now,
if you can do like a for dummies one will be great, because I have a lot more questions that I cannot gather in my thoughts, but it still seems a bit confused about it.
okay. Now, I did change Flurry a little bit. Because of the text. You know how you usually get that one bonus action?
Yeah.
This Flurry gives you 2 of those. So, you'd only get, with your extra attack, if you did a Flurry, you would get 4 normal attacks because you're dual wielding, and then 2 bonus attacks. So 6 total.
So 6 instead of 7 like before.
Yeah. You do lose 1 attack, but only 1. It's still better than 4, so...
Yeah, I guess. Now, let me just ask you this. Okay, so
Okay.
let's say I'm attacking somebody, right?
Mhm.
And I just attack, then Flurry blows, and like some of the rolls were low, but I see that you have Twist of Fate at the very top. So that, and can I
Yes.
use like a key point and then another key point to change one of those
Alright. So
attacks?
first,
Yeah.
Twist of Fate probably would not be what you want. What you'd want is Perfect Strike. Perfect Strike costs 1 chi point. But when you miss with an attack roll, you can spend 1 chi point to increase your attack roll by your martial arts die. So for you, that's a d8. So that gives you a d8 added to your attack roll. So say, well, heck, I'll pull up your sheet and we'll do 2 attacks. So just like a normal one.
Okay.
Alright, so we got, well, it's gonna show 3, because I did one earlier. But,
Oh, okay.
25, 24, and 13, 11 are the results. Now that second one probably is not gonna hit unless something is the size of a barn door. So,
Right.
if you want to, you can choose to spend the chi point, and then you can roll a d8. In this
Okay.
case, we get a 2. So, you add that 2 to the 13 because you used Perfect Strike. And then it's a 15. So maybe that 15 hits. However, the way Perfect Strike works is if you don't hit, you get your points back. So you don't lose anything.
Oh, okay. So if even if I get the perfect strike and if it doesn't hit, it misses, it will
Yeah.
reimburse the key point that I have used. Is that correct?
Yes. So if you
Ah,
hit,
okay.
you use up that chi point. But if you miss, you don't.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So if you miss, it's kind of always a good idea to use it if you have the points and you want to really hit someone.
Ah, okay. Now, here's a fun one that I also have a little bit of doubts, but can you explain me how the key blast works?
Okay,
Because DBC rolls in my head when I read that.
I mean, that is sort of probably the best way to think of it. When Kolvar was there, or Ren as Kolvar,
Mhm.
I think a couple of times he used the Burning Hand spell.
Right.
Chi Blast and Burning Hands are functionally identical. What they do is make a fan in front of you. That's a 15-foot long cone. So anything in that cone is hit and takes damage.
Okay.
Now, they get a saving throw to take half damage and not be pushed. But if they fail, they're pushed up to 10 feet back and they take. Where is it? 2d6 force damage. It's not a lot of damage, especially since this doesn't scale. But 2d6 isn't bad. It's between 2 and 12 damage. Plus, this forces them back. So, say you were fighting, like on the edge of the cliff. Remember the big battle against the orcs, where they were up
Yeah, I
above?
remember. Yeah.
If you'd been up there besides Kolvar and you used this, you could have sent like 4 or 5 of them flying off the edge. Figuring
I see.
they didn't save, at least. Now,
Okay, now
that can be.
I was gonna say the Dexterity saving throw. How does that work? Like, what kind of saving throw of Dexterity the number has to be for them to be safe?
Okay. That's based as a monk. And this is the case for all your abilities. I think I did the formula in here. Yes. All the saves versus your abilities are 8 plus your proficiency, which is currently 3, so 11, plus your dex or wisdom modifier, whichever is higher, which for you is a 3. So, it would be a 14.
It will be at DC of 14.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I believe it might. Alright, I'd have to code it for that. Which I probably won't. But, if you take that, I'll list it as an attack ability. So it would be like right under rope dart. So you would just click it, and it would tell you what needs to be rolled. And I'll update that, just like I did your AC when you level up.
Alright, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm gonna do my own reading too and see what else is gonna be changing.
Yeah,
Then
I mean,
have to decide what do I want to go with? Do I want to stay the way I was because that's Kensei, Or try something different with the War Monk. I still get the feeling that War Monk seems to be more like I don't know, somebody that is a little bit more tanky and goes in the front line of attack. But that is just me.
Really? Kensei are probably better. As far as that goes.
Yeah.
War Monk will have a wider range of abilities because they get those 2 extra early abilities. Oh,
Mhm.
I forgot to mention this, but I don't think monks really see this. But you can change your abilities whenever you would get an ability score improvement. So, level 4, level 8, level 12, 16, and 18. No, 19, sorry. But at those levels, there's what's called Versatility. That lets you switch out things a little. If you were a sorcerer or a wizard, those would be spells. For a monk, those are your chi abilities. So, if you do want to switch things up, like you found you don't like an ability, you can change those out. This is also the case with one of the Kensei abilities. It's called Sharpen the Blade. So, Sharpen the Blade comes in 3 flavors. There's Sharpen the Blade 1, Sharpen the Blade 2, and Sharpen the Blade 3. There's a reason for this. So, you know how weapons have enchantment bonuses that they can get.
Right?
Well,
Right.
Sharpen the Blade lets you spend 1 chi point to basically enchant your weapon for up to a minute. It requires concentration. You gotta keep the chi flowing. But you get that +1 to attack and +1 to damage that you would if your weapon had been enchanted, without actually having to have a magical weapon.
Oh, so for example, like the battle that we had before with those individuals that for some reason they were taking less damage than they should. If I had that use, would I be like full damage or the same?
Now, so here's the thing. There's 2 abilities that come up at 6th level. For Kensei, that is 1 with your blade, which gives all your weapons that are Kensei weapons count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Regular monks get the same thing, but for bare-handed attacks. So unarmed.
Oh, okay.
So Kensei gets this. However, they can one-up that. They can actually go and use Sharpen the Blade to enchant the weapon, basically, and give it that +1. So even on top of counting as a magic weapon, they would then get the damage and 2-hit bonus. So they're more accurate and they do more damage. For up to a minute.
Oh, okay.
So-
Okay. Up to a minute. So that will be like what, like almost an entire fight?
Yeah, I mean, most fights, I think the longest battle you guys have had was against the orcs, and that went about 20 rounds, which is about 2 minutes.
Oh God, yeah, that is a long time then. Because I remember I had to dip out in that fight because it was getting too late.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it was a long battle. There were a lot of enemies.
That too.
But even so, this would have been 2 uses of that. Now, the reason there's 3 versions is because the second one replaces the first when you take it. And lets you spend up to 2 chi points. And with that, you get a +2 if you spend 2. So, same with the 3. The 3 lets you spend up to 3 points and get a +3.
I see. Okay, well, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
have
like I said.
I don't have the same thing for War Monk. I've considered something kind of like that, but I haven't worked it out yet. Yeah.
I would say that you just need to exactly picture how the War Monk is gonna play as. But the word war, you know what I see sometimes when I imagine it? I just imagine like a Kratos kind of character.
Well,
The ones that
obviously.
go like almost like like that, just go there and start punching the enemies.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kratos uses like axes. I think axes are his normal weapon.
Oh, on the new one. On the old one, they uses that little kind of like the same Kensei weapon that I use at the moment, like darts, but they have blades at the end.
I think I vaguely remember them. I never had a PlayStation. I still don't.
Oh,
So,
sad.
I've never actually played them, but I've seen
I
them.
did. I played a little bit F out of them. It was fun.
But he would probably be either a war monk or a Kensei, depending on how you look at it.
I see.
It really depends.
Well,
Especially,
it depends a lot.
I would say the new one is probably more of a Kensei. Probably.
Yeah, I can see how that changed into a Kensei.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go to take lunch. But thank you
Okay.
for having me.
No problem.
I'll
Glad
see
you
you
stopped by.
later. Yeah.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Okay. So, we've had our talk now with Lily. Hopefully that kind of explains things for you guys too. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them. Let me take a drink real quick. I've been talking for 2 hours. So, hydrate. Hydrate. Alright. Also give some hugs. Chat, you need hugs. Lily as well. There you go. So, these are our first group of abilities. I still want to look over here and see about maybe borrowing some ideas. So many of these I would not use. So it's kind of a matter of looking through. Okay, that does not match the description. See, that's the problem with a lot of their abilities. Some of the Lotus stuff, though, that I could probably borrow. And obviously, flight. We already have that, so we don't need that. Flowing Blade. I mean, that sounds interesting. I already have a sweep attack, I think. Maybe I didn't. Wait, no. Crescent Moon Slice. I do have one. It's a counterattack, though. A counterattack that hits multiple people. Which I think is kind of nice. It's something we don't really see. It is kind of another one of those, like, reaction abilities. Monks have a lot of those. So, what's Falling Chain? No, sounds like a lot of the other ones. I mean, maybe if I saw them, like, animated, I would think these are different. But the way they're described sounds like you hit the guy and do the same thing. But it's called 4 different things. And all we're going and doing is borrowing the idea. 5 mountain jump. Okay, I'm not sure what happened to that game, but steam armor sounds very impressive. Yeah, that definitely didn't happen when I used to watch. Let's see. Fist Slam. Really? The guy's name is A. Alright. I'll go with that. Alright. What else we got? Fluttering Heaven. Bubble Blower. Okay, I don't think we want that. Drilling Crimson Blade. Huh. Double Slash. I mean, maybe. I don't really like the name. Deviate Sword. Oh. Okay. So, another combo. Wow. That is weird. I'm not sure why you'd call that Deviate Sword. That seems really weird. What are drilling needles? Okay, that's another weird one. Dynamic entry. So a jump kick. Not really what I'm thinking of. Flying attack. No. Okay, what's this? Not really what I want either. See, this is sort of the problem. I mean, there's reason I use this. 2,606 names and descriptions. If we can borrow some elements from those, even just a couple, that's still a lot better than having to come up with an idea from scratch. Green Impact. Okay, it appears in the game. Green roar. Okay, that has nothing to do with roaring. We did ground splitting, right? Huh. Great barrage strike. You know what? There is one thing I'm gonna add. I've wanted to do this, so we will do this. I'm gonna call it Needle Barrage. I'm gonna say requires level 4. Maybe not. I might change that. I don't know if it really needs to be level 4. You know what? 3 is probably more than enough. So, 1 chi. Time to use. It is a partial attack. Range is technically self, because you're only affecting yourself. It's not changing anything outside you. And it lasts 1 round. Okay. So. You can release. So let's do some math. Because I want this to be for ranged abilities. Like throwing daggers or darts. We haven't really seen a lot of that, and I want to see some more. So this is Flurry of Blows, but for ranged weapons. Flurry of ranged thrown weapons. Making up to 4 attacks. I mean, maybe we should consider this an action. So 1 action. It's kind of like, cost of 1 key point. As long as you have enough thrown weapons on hand. So yeah, not as many attacks as like someone in melee range. However, that is equal to the number of attacks at base. So, Melissa, Lily's character, she gets multi-attack on each attack action because she dual wields. So she has 2 weapons. And I made the rule in Celestia that you can use both weapons as part of the same attack action. So, now, I do have a boost for 2-handed weapons, so the damage is roughly on par. But attack-wise, they're still gonna miss every so many attacks. So, if you can land hits each time with a 2-hander, technically, the damage should come out about even. However, in this case, the base attack would be one main attack, extra attack, so that's a second attack action as part of your attack action. Then if you flurry, you get 2 bonus actions, so you get 2 more attacks, so 4 total. This does the same thing, but for ranged attacks. So you can send forth a barrage of like darts or daggers, that sort of thing. There's a few other hand weapons as part of the world. Come on, switch tabs. It's a little hard to see here. Wow, I don't even think I added them all. Because the only extra one I saw was so darts, daggers, which are also thrown. Chakram. I don't think I've got those on the list, but they're in here. I know there's a couple more. I just gotta find throne. Hand axes. You could use hand axes. I mean, that would be kind of cool. Kensei with hand axes, who throws them, and a flurry. I kind of like that. Probably even javelins. I mean, that could be kind of cool. Rapid fire javelins. All these weapons are already at 6th level, because they'd be counted as monk weapons, so martial arts die would replace their base die. At least if you're using them as a Kensei. I mean, you could even do light hammers. Flinging hammers. I kind of like that idea. I might make a monk who does that. Just because that sounds fun. I probably would not allow net. I mean, technically, it meets the requirements. But I'd have trouble going through with that one. Oh, you could even use tridents. You know, make Gura. She's got a dozen tridents on her back. And she just hurls tridents at you. Okay, now I want to make a Gura in Celestia. That could be fun. That could be really fun. I do kind of want to do it now. I'm not sure I'd make her a Kensei. But I mean, it could work. She does use a trident. But yeah, needle barrage sounds about right. Let's see. So we have that. What do we want? What is Gentle Fist? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all the 8 trigrams stuff. It's not called that. Headbutt. You know, it's not a very effective thing to do. Heaven Cutter. I mean, the problem with the game ones is that, you know, the idea is to send your target airborne, which is really hard to duplicate in D&D. Heaven's Spear Kick.
A fallen angel in the snow, a berry from the mistletoe. There's something about the cold that
Okay, I really hate that sidebar.
I'm finding love in the snow.
Heaven's Needle Barrage. I mean, that does sound impressive. No idea about who that character is. Ryzen Meteor. Truth Seeking False. What? Okay, that's way too involved. And see, I'm looking through Taijutsu, because I don't want super involved ones. But they still give me all these. Inner Sakura. I can only guess. Instant Lightning Blade. I don't even want to know what internal weapon is. Wait. That doesn't even talk about what I would call an internal weapon. These names, really. Lava, leaf, lots of leaf. Leaf this, leaf that. Leaping bullet shell tower. That sounds kind of impressive. Let's see. What does that have to do with bullets? You turn yourself into a ball, which I'm not doing in D&D. That just sounds weird. So let's see. Might Cyclone. Moonlight. What's Moonlight? Okay, that's way too involved. Way too involved. Night Phoenix. Okay, that's weird too. We might dip over into Shadow Monk. Let me pull that up. Because we're gonna get into the S's. And I think we're gonna see shadow this, shadow that. See? This right here is another chi ability. And a typo. I have a typo. Oh no. I probably want to separate these. And I want to get rid of Dark Vision. Because I gave them Dark Vision. So I don't think they need to cast it. Though I might get rid of this. Yeah. Give them like 1 minute Dark Vision for a chi point instead. I kinda like that. Shadow Leap, I might do as a chi cost. Oh wow, I made that unlimited. That's probably a little too powerful, even if it requires they be in dim light or darkness. So, yeah, I probably need to change that. So for now, let's pull out. Let's pull out all these abilities. Third level going away. We'll pull out that as well. This is probably another good chi ability. So, let's grab that as well. And yeah, let's just get rid of this. Well, I might want the name. Let's see. Right. I need this. Because the title is what we're going to use on the next page. When I cut out the chi abilities. Oh, I do need... I need the text. So we're gonna call them shadow techniques. That sounds good. Right. You learn a number of them. At least one chi point. And how many you get. I'm gonna say 2. Might change that. Depending on how many shadow abilities we get. Right. And shadow techniques. Or monk chi abilities. There we go. And I'll get the text for this. So learner. Right. And chi abilities again. And shadow techniques. Right. So. Yeah. Same sort of thing. In fact. Ooh. Okay, that's the wrong number of dots. Probably doesn't mean anything to you guys. But... okay, that's Adept. And this is Master. There we go. Let's re-grab this. Because technically, I want it on the next page we're going to open. And we're going to make, like, a dozen-ish. Alright. I'm going to hop back over here. And we're just going to take this whole page. Then we can close this up. And then I want that over in the GM only area. Okay. So, Shadow Eyes. Required level 3. Because the subclasses start at 3. So, time to use. I'm gonna say a bonus action. Range. Self. Duration. Up to 1 minute. I'm gonna say 1 minute. I don't think it should require concentration. you can use the equivalent of the dark vision spell. Yeah, I think that works. I don't think we need to say really anything else. I think it's kind of descriptive. Okay, Veil of Darkness. That sounds cool. For now, I'm gonna call them both 3rd level abilities. This I want to make one action. Range. Okay, this is harder. I don't know the range of darkness off the top of my head. We can find out though. Darkness. Spell. 60 feet. That'll work. 60 feet. Duration. What is the spell's duration? Because basically, we're doing... Oh god. 10 minutes. 10 minutes! Wow. I'm gonna say 1 minute. Who needs darkness for 10 minutes? I don't think I would do that. Okay, so. Darkness spell. Yeah, that should be good enough. The only difference is this one is 1 minute. And we can see that. So that shouldn't be an issue. Pass without trace. It's a good alternative description. Shadow Path, maybe? Or Path of Darkness. I like Shadow Path. Alright, 3+. 1 chi point. Use. I'm gonna say it's a bonus action. I think the original Pass Without Trace is not. But this only applies to us. I'm gonna say 1 minute, maybe? Let's look. Yeah, if I could type. If I could type. Alright. Oh, up to an hour. You know what? Since this only affects you, I don't really think we need like an hour. I mean, maybe. I'm gonna say 10 minutes. Alright. We're gonna take the text again. Pass without trace. And again, I can't type. Alright, so you can use the equivalent of the Pass Without Trace spell on yourself. I think we need that. In fact, I might add that to Shadow Eyes. One minute. Yeah, I'm gonna add 1 minute there too, just to remind us if we happen to not notice. Alright, and the last ability, silence. So, another word for silence. or just like sound? Maybe Sonic Shadow. Kinda like that. It's got flair. Alright. And 1 point again. We don't want to have too high cost. My elemental monks actually need, like, a lot more points for chi. Because otherwise, they'd never have any points. Their chi would all be sucked up. I think it's probably 60 foot. No, 120 foot. Wow, that's huge. I'm gonna say 60 foot. I don't think we really need that much. And it's 10 minutes. But I'm gonna do 1 minute. Alright. And with a range of 30 feet. No, 60 feet. 60 feet. There we go. Alright, so that gets rid of Shadow Arts. And Shadow Eyes, because we already did that. Then we can do... I already have an ability which is called Shadow Step. Yeah. We're not duplicating that. Or Shadow Rush. So, we need to come up with a new name for this. I mean, the original here is called Shadow Leap. We might go with that. This was 6th level, so we'll say it's a 6. She cost 1. The original didn't cost chi, so time to use. It is a bonus action. Range 60 feet, as per our original text. And it's basically instant. So, we're gonna copy this. I'm not doing Flurry of Blows as a bonus action. So, I don't need that text. In fact, I haven't treated it as a bonus action in a long time. Let's see. You can see through your own darkness with this. I should add that text, because that comes kind of in handy here. You basically spend a point, cast Veil of Darkness, or use Veil of Darkness. Then you turn on Shadow Eyes as your bonus action. Then, the next round, as a bonus action, you do Shadow Leap, and you make attacks. Flurry. Flurry of attacks. Yeah, that sounds great. Right. I'll do Hour Ore. That's great. Hour of Reaping. It was also 6+. Will cost 1 chi. Time to use. It's an action, so 1 action. Range 30 feet. Or 30 foot radius. Because it's basically a burst. Duration 1 round. Alright, we're gonna just take the text and we'll edit it up here. So, you gain the ability to unsettle or terrify those around you as an action. I won't include the flavor text. When you take this action, each hostile creature within 30 feet of you that can see you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you until the end of your next... That should probably be round. Your next round. Alright. So those are our basics. So, what else might we want to bring in here? Shadow clones. Shadow stroke? What the hell is that? What does that even have to do with shadows? Wow, there are really not that many abilities. Weird. Okay, I don't see the point in that. So we're not getting any real ideas from this one. None at all. That does sound good, but not for a Shadow Monk. We'll come back to the Shadow Monk. I mean, we got the first techniques in. They have 6 abilities so far. Obviously, they get 2 to start, 2 at 6, 2 at 11, and then 2 at 17. So we need at least 8, just so they can take them all. So that's our minimum. If we don't get the minimum, it's gonna be an issue. Let's refresh that, since our page is there now. Alright. So, I want War Monk, because I don't know what it actually does, but Shockwave Thrust sounded cool. I don't like that effect at all. So we're definitely not taking that, but I will take the name. I'm thinking like a line-based attack. Or maybe the equivalent of Shatter. I kind of like the line better. So, let's borrow the name. And I definitely think it should be a War Monk ability. So let's go back here. Do this. Shockwave Thrust. I'm thinking level 6 is a requirement. That's about the time that, mages get fireballs. So it sounds about a good time for this. Damage will not be the same. I don't know what the damage will be yet, but I can't see it being the same. I mean, if I charged more chi for it, I could see it maybe. maybe it depends. Damage depends on the amount of cheese spent. I mean, that could be interesting. Time to use. One action. Range. Say 60-foot line. I kinda like that. 60-foot line of death. Okay, it's an instant attack. You can release a powerful punch charged with chi. Hey, Nourish Shiny. We're playing with monks. You might have missed the first part, but for my own setting in D&D, I redid Monk. This is what my monk looks like. So, a big change and a new one, because I just tweaked it again, is to get rid of hard... How do I want to put it? Like fixed level abilities. So, monks tend to get like flurry of blows, stunning strike, other chi abilities at like specific levels. Instead, I made a list with 15 options on it. And every other level, my monks now get to pick which ones they want. As part of that, I'm building the same system into the subclasses. So, my war monks, my Kensei monks, all those have their own list. Kind of like spell lists. Yes, that's the point. Let's say me feeling a little more magical. I mean, they're always supposed to be quasi-magical. In fact, in Celestia, my world, they fit into the same class as like paladins, bards, artificers. They're called hybrids. So, they're supposed to be magical, but with more limits than like sorcerers or mages. But yeah, that was the big change I just did. I've been meaning to do it for a while. Originally, I made the class back in July? I think it was July. At the time, I didn't have more than maybe 10 abilities, so it didn't really feel like it deserved its own list. So, I didn't make it into a list back then. But now, I came across some good ideas for some more abilities. Chi Blast, Perfect Strike, Wholeness of Body, Windstep, a lot of things like that. So, now I have 15 options. Flash Step. So, the equivalent of Misty Step, but for monks. So if you want to go that route, I mean, you can make a monk that's like high mobility, dancing around the battlefield, pummeling people. Using that to get out of tough situations. I made a lot of changes to my monks. But I really like that one. Because besides, the only monk that's in my campaign right now, is Melissa. It was on a little bit ago. We had a discussion as I sort of explained things to her again. But we did it live, so you guys could see us talk. And when I did that, well, she's the only monk we have, so it's a big change for her. She's gonna have to work on her character, and look things over a little more. But they still get a lot of abilities. I mean, monk is dripping in abilities. Added a few more in. I always hated the Drunken Master as a subclass. None of its things felt useful, so one of the first things I did when I made my monk was to bring those in. So leap to your feet and redirect attacks. Those come right from Drunken Master. They make you feel a lot more like Jackie Chan, especially with my redesign of Patient Defense. Yeah, I think it's a lot more well-rounded, but also, it's stacked more for the early levels. By the time you get to like 6th, maybe 7th level, you have pretty much all the main abilities. Yeah, it's done very well. In fact, I'm going back now as part of this. The versatility is a big change. It's mostly positive, since it's gonna bring a lot more abilities in. But at the same time, I'm detuning it a little bit because one of the group's main enemies was a level 6 war monk, and at level 6, she was still utterly kicking the floor with 4 or 5 4th level characters. She was so strong. So strong. So, now I'm detuning it a little bit. Obviously, at level 6, she should be, a threat. Especially when I gave her, like, a special ring with, basically, their actions. But she didn't really use the ring. She was strong enough. They did eventually kill her. In the last... No, the episode before last. So, 2 weeks ago now, almost. They fought her again for the final time. It was 4 of them, and, she one round killed one character. Neria is a rogue and doesn't have a lot of HP, but still annihilated. So, yeah, they need detuned a little bit. So I've reduced Flurry a bit. I added uses to Patient Defense, because that's a big, defensive ability. I decoupled it from Chi, because I don't get a lot of Chi, and it was hard to get that balance between defense and offense. And since Patient Defense is their big, defensive ability, I wanted to make it use its own pool. But, even so, those will be a little bit of tuning. everything else feels okay. So I changed Flurry. Now, for my system, yeah, I mean, I like Chi, because I like sorcery points, and one of the things I did for my Elemental Monk, was that they basically cast spells, with one Chi point being one level of spell they can cast. But especially early on, you don't really have a lot of Chi. So I had to make this whole system to give them more Chi. Now I've gone and boosted Chi a bit. Not so much at the high level, but at the early levels, it's really handy. I feel Chi's in a better place with a little bit more. So right now, my characters are level 5. Wow, that did not want to highlight. But that means they have 8 Chi points, while Melissa does, which is a good amount. She can do a lot of stuff. She has to be a little bit careful, because unless they get a rest between combat, which they usually do, but not all the time. They've been in the city lately, so they get a lot more downtime because they're in the city. You know, they're not jumping from one fight to another, so they have time to rest. But 8 seems a good number. It gives her a wide range of things she could do. On the other hand, she kept doing flurry of blows and like the occasional counterattack. And that was about all she did. So I'm hoping this adds a lot more that she wants to do. And some of them are really nice abilities that I added. I wanted to use Perfect Strike a lot. That's sort of the monk equivalent of True Strike. So, but I use the same mechanic that, what is it called? Soul Knives. It uses the same concept as Soul Knives. So, basically, they get a martial arts die, and that's added to the attack roll. So, right now, they have d8s. So they'd roll a d8, and spend 1 Chi to do it. If that is still not enough, like, maybe you roll a 1. So, your attack fails, because maybe it was, say, a 9, and you roll a 1, and 10 is still not enough. The way Soul Knife works, and the way Perfect Strike does now, is that you're refunded the 1 Chi you spent. So, it's only if you hit that you spend the Chi. I kinda like that. I think she'll probably do it a lot. Like, she'll do a flurry, and she might get 3 out of 5 attacks. Well, that's the old numbers. Now that she's level 5, technically she can get 6 attacks, which sounds like a lot, but she only usually hits about half. But if she wants to spend the points, she could pulverize someone. You know, just keep doing perfect strikes. So, you know, she hits 3 times, she misses 3 times. So, she goes and does perfect strike on each of the misses. And, you know, maybe she hits 5 times. I mean, with her, she's using a monk weapon, So it's doing D8 damage. So it's basically 5d8 damage. Plus their dex mod, because they're dex weapons. So 5d8 plus 15, which sounds like a lot. And I mean, it is a lot, but she had to spend, in this scenario at least, 3 chi to do it, and she only has 8. So she'd be hurting right after she did that. But she might take out the big bad, you know? I think that's fair. At least in my head it is. We'll see how... I think we'll see how that works. And I might retune it a little bit more. But I think it's getting pretty good as far as where it places. I did a big change to Barbarians too. They're very defensive, at least in my game. But I kind of threw the idea on its head. In Celestia, Barbarians have heavy armor. They're big tanky guys, and instead of getting resistance to attacks, they get bonus HP equal to their normal HP, which means it's the exact same effect as if they had resistance. But it gives them this big, beefy pool of temp HP, which wears off when they're not raging. It's done really well. I like how they fit in. It's made for some interesting battles. But the Barbarian doesn't really do a lot of damage. They're very tanky, but not really damage dealers. Monk fits somewhere in the middle. And if anyone had chosen it, like the sorcerers and wizards would be the big damage dealers, because they're whipping out the fireballs now. They're level 5. And we did have 2 mystics. My mystic class, the best way to think of it, because I don't like how D&D and 5e separates druids from clerics. I want my clerics and my druids to be the same thing. And on top of that, I kind of like some of the feel of warlock, so I combine the 3 into the mystic. Their spells are handled more like warlocks, but Celestia, as odd as the name sounds, there's no real clerics. The gods do not grant magical power, so they're arcane spellcasters. So, more in line with a warlock. And they have the same, spell limit. They don't get more than 5th level spells. Well, I added in spell secrets, kind of like bards get. So, drawing inspirations from several sources. But I had 2 mystics in the group. Sadly, Kolvar, or Ren, who plays Kolvar, had to leave. So, the timing wasn't working for the campaign anymore. So, he's gone. And the other mystic is currently away because of work. So, the team has no magic. It's kind of crazy. But, yeah. The monk, the solo monk, is the closest thing they have to like a spellcaster at this point. But they didn't really have anything that felt spellcastery. So I really like this change to sort of pull that back around. I mean, yeah, they're really gonna have to think in this next dungeon, because when we come back from hiatus on the 9th of January, they're gonna finish up the city, and then the next episode will be a new dungeon. Or maybe the trip to the dungeon. I haven't quite figured that out, because it depends on how they want to get there. There's a sort of trip involved. And I might have some things happen on their trip. But in fact, I kind of like that idea. Give them some things to do on the way. But I have the next dungeon coming up, and they probably will not have any mystics for that dungeon. So that's going to really change up their dynamics. Their barbarian is really going to have to rely on raging and using temp HP rather than HP. He can suck up damage pretty good, but especially him. He's got the most HP anyways. I'll show you. Since it happens in Roll20, and I have Roll20 up, Kriv. He has 66 HP at level 5. And that's just using D12s. And his con bonus. So, he's got a lot of con. With a +3 bonus. It's really made him have a lot of HP. On the opposite end, Neria is the one that got 1-rounded. She needs to roll HP for 5th level, but at 4th level, she had 25 HP. Which is kind of low. Constitution and strength were basically her dump stats. So, unfortunately, that's meant she doesn't really gain that much, which has sort of been an issue. Especially, I don't know if you looked. She is... she's a scout rogue, which is a new class I made, and the way she's playing it, subclass I made, the way I'm playing it, or she's playing it, is she uses a rapier and a dagger, and she dives into combat, then out of combat. Using the fact that she has an initiative bonus that's really high. So the idea is she's not close enough to get hit. Except when she is. And even with an 18 AC, because she has really good armor, if she gets hit, she goes down. I mean, Deckard is our ranger, 5th level. He needs to roll HP, I think. No, I think he did roll HP. Pretty sure he did, because he was there for the last episode. So, the ones that were there rolled HP, but no one else did. He's been kind of conflicting lately. So last episode, Melissa and Tiris, the other rogue, I have 2 rogues in the group, and he needs to roll HP. But he's doing a little better than Neria. A little bit lower AC though. But he's more ranged. He did take Soul Knife. So he can get up close if he wants. But he started out using a bow. So. But Tiris and Melissa ended up getting into a fight with Deckard. And Deckard forgot about his ability. Otherwise, that would have been probably really bad. Deckard has an ability that, besides his pet, which is also a really big boost, his pet, Ducky, actually does a lot of damage. It's very squishy though. This Ducky is just a giant poisonous snake. With some boosts, which actually should increase. Why did that page disappear? Oh well. Anyways, I'll have to remember to fix that. Because Ducky's page is a little behind. But, anyways, yeah, they got into a physical battle. I mean, you can only do so much to protect a player when they just want to be counter to the group. Basically, they had this prisoner, and I gave him some clues about what might happen, because Deckard really wanted to kill the prisoner. But, there's lots of reasons. The rest of them did not want to kill the prisoner. And they got into a big conflict over it, because he just sent Ducky over and killed them. Yep, decided to not talk anymore and just had him kill their prisoner. So, yeah, that was a big thing. Who knows what Deckard is going to be like for the next episode. But, I mean, it is drama. It certainly is. Yeah, part of what they need to do next episode is figure out what they're doing with the dead body. Though, I have a feeling Melissa and Kriv are probably going to make Deckard do something with the body. Yeah, I mean, I know, Lily, who plays, Melissa, would have preferred me to, step in and handle it somehow. But if I did that, I'd be the evil old overlord that told Deckard he can't have his fun. So, I said instead, you gotta live with your consequences. So, if you kill this person, then, the others can attack you. They can. There's no rule that says they can't. So, but yeah. I mean, I know behind the scenes, Kuma, who plays Deckard, they didn't take exception with it. So, I think it works out. But maybe Deckard will learn a lesson. Piss off your team. They might hurt you. might. Yeah. I'm not sure in the long run how that will play out. But technically, Deckard is supposed to be chaotic neutral. But sometimes he really dips into the evil. Once upon a time, he was chaotic good. But I told him, as a warning, wow, way back in, episode 6, he wanted to, I think he wanted to skin a goblin, and then wear its skin. And I'm like, you're chaotic good. I'm not sure your morals should let you do that. He said, well, then, I don't have to be chaotic good. And I'm like, okay, then chaotic neutral? I mean, he has a very clear idea of Deckard, personality-wise. But, yeah, he doesn't really stick to alignment very well. Now, background-wise, he is supposed to be an undead Nephilim, which basically means a parent at some point would have been one of the types of, undead creatures, like a vampire, that can possibly sire offspring. I think there's a couple others that can do that, but it's kind of rare. But yeah, Nephilim is just half-breed as far as Celestia goes, but they have their own name. But yeah, Tyrus is also a Nephilim, but he is an elven Nephilim. So, one of his parents, or grandparents, was an elf. We're not really sure how connected they are, but Deckard definitely plays up that one of his ancestors is some sort of undead creature, and an evil undead creature at that. So, I mean, it fits. I think I want to color his abilities a little bit more, since he tends to lead into that. We'll see how that goes. And actually, I'm kind of really tempted to let Deckard maybe raise Ducky from the dead, if Ducky should happen to die. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. Deckard is not a spellcaster, but maybe using his blood or something, he can potentially bring Ducky back to life as an undead giant poisonous snake. I hope Kuma is not watching, because I'm not saying I'm doing that. It's just a thought. Sure. On that note, it's behind the scenes, but on YouTube, I have the whole playlist. Can I get to come up? Yes. So in here are a few episodes like this where I'm setting up the campaign, but episode 0 isn't here. Episode 1 and 2, intros, because we have an intro. In fact, I need to make a new version of the intro. I've made several versions, but they're all in here. The holiday special was episode 18, so there are a few. But, yeah, it's been kind of fun. In particular, the early episodes were really kind of fun. Things changed. I think in here, episode 7, that's where we added in Melissa the Monk and Kolvar the Mystic. And the Tavern Brawl was epic. I made a lot of those into shorts. They also had an epic fight in episode 13. It took basically the entire episode for that one fight. And they almost died. So, those are some highlights. It's a fun playlist. They don't always do so great in town. I'm sort of... A lot of them are newer players, so I'm working on getting them to do more roleplay. In town, it's where they tend to do a lot of that. So, there are some not so interesting episodes. But, I like their progress. But yeah, let's back out of there. So, I think it's time for me to eat dinner. We've been going for 3 hours and basically 15 minutes. So, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You gotta let new players grow. Ooh. Yeah. I like Shadowrun. I actually used to play way back when. I haven't played in a long time, though. Some of the rules felt kind of clunky, but I haven't played the new ones. I'll have to look into that more when I have time. Oh, on that thought, in January, I should be starting a new series, which is also set in Celestia. It is Arcane Academy. Actually, since I still have it up, I did a little trailer somewhere in here. Back further, I think. Yes, trailer. So really quick, we'll play the trailer. There's not much to it. Oh wow. YouTube, what are you doing? Actually paused while playing. But yes, Arcane Academy is coming. The players will be at a magic school. Should be interesting. Since the timing didn't work out for its Rogren, it was playing Kolvar They're going to be in, or at least we're hoping they're going to be in Arcane Academy. So they'll be back in that series. Also, Nashi Kitsune is going to be in that. They were in a really old D&D series, my first one that I did live. It was called Blade of Vengeance, where I took a first edition module and redid it as a 5e campaign setting, or reimagined it. So, the second player in that, I only had 2 players, so the second player ended up going on vacation, and then they never got around to coming back to the show at least. They were too busy, so I haven't had Nashi in a game for a while, but they should be coming back for Arcane Academy. That should be really fun. I have a couple of other people who have contacted me about possibly being in it. I still have space though. What I want to do, and one of the things that's sort of special about Arcane Academy is there's going to be about 30 characters who are all starting out at the same time at the school. The players will be just some of those characters, but I want NPCs who aren't so much NPCs. So I'm going to have a lot of guest characters coming in to play specific character roles. So, depending on how many people I have, I might have random name. So April O'Neil as a character who's in the class, and they're played by someone who can't be there every week, but I can bring their character in whenever they're available, and they can have fun with the rest of the group without having to be gone all the time. So I'm really looking forward to that, and expanding the world of Celestia. Anyways, I really want it to be used for a lot of different campaigns. I really like everything I've done with it so far. And on that thought, as I got distracted, I'm not sure what the time is going to be. I want it to be on the weekend, maybe Saturday. Even though that will kind of throw off my schedule. Wow. Schedule. Where did that come from? It's probably gonna throw off my schedule. Because I do Minecraft as a collab on Saturdays. But, I kind of want it to be on Saturday, earlier in the day. Celestia happens at 8 p.m. EST, which is kind of late for me, because I'm in EST. So, yeah, I'm East Coast. So, 8 o'clock means we're getting done about midnight, which is kind of hard. I can't sleep during the day, at least not usually. So, midnight is kind of late for me. But, I should find someone to raid, because I do need to go make dinner. On that thought, apparently, Izzy is streaming, and they're making Christmas dinner. Oh, we have to go for Christmas dinner. So, I hope you stay around and watch some Christmas dinner, as it's made for us. Izzy is fun and cool, so, you know, I like rating her. But I need to go and make my own dinner. So, I'm gonna, have us raid that channel. In the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow at 4 Eastern, with Final Fantasy VII. I'm enjoying the remake, but, I wanted to talk to Lily, and, I wanted to show off the monk rebuild on stream. So, got a little bit of that today. So tomorrow, we'll be back. Oh, it would probably help if I bring up her channel. Yeah, commercials. So, anyways, I think that covers it. So, have fun. Take care. And I will see you later. Bye.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so green bean casserole. I'm gonna try to make like these